Bear Essentials podcast gives older bears a place to gather for real talk regarding topics and issues that they can relate to. Here at the Bare Essentials, we aren't just having conversations. We are looking to provide actionable intelligence through real-life experience and expertise of our guests. Our mission is to build a strong community that elevates and motivates people to go beyond their limiting beliefs by helping them realize that getting older is not an excuse to hibernate on their goals, but a reason to work harder.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Charles Wallace. Today's guest is Joey, the Cinderella Man, Angelo. He is an MMA fighter and a bare-knuckle boxer. And trust me, he's toughness personified. And when you hear what he puts himself through, working a daily 12-hour shift at his regular job, and then training, along with being married and having 4 kids, I don't know how he does it. But I do know this. I can never say that I don't have enough time anymore, because when you want something bad enough, as Joey shows, you make the time. So without further ado, let's jump into my interview with the Cinderella Man, Joey Angelo. But first, a word from our sponsor. The Bare Essentials podcast is sponsored by Fire Beast Jerky. With flavors ranging from tropical flair to sweet reaper, Fire Beast has something for all jerky lovers. And with over 30 years of experience making small batch, big flavor jerky, Fire Beast is sure to deliver quality, affordable jerky directly to your doorstep anywhere in America. So head on over to firebeastjerky.com and be sure to use code BEAR10 at checkout and receive 10% off your order from Fire Beast, the heat that is sweet. Hey, Joey, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. How you been?
I'm good, Charles. I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you've been somebody that I've actually wanted to have on for, a little bit of time now. So I'm glad we're finally able to connect. I'm really, really happy, man. I think just everything I see you're involved with and the way you take care of your business, man, I think it's a lot of value you can add to the audience. So would you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Yeah, I'm Joey, the Cinderella Man, Angelo, mixed martial artist and bare-knuckle boxer. Out here, I'm living here in Las Vegas, Nevada, training over at Uprising MMA here in Las Vegas.
Joey, that's awesome, man. So how long have you been doing, I'll just say mixed martial arts in general, combat sports?
I started back home in New York. I started boxing just for self-defense purposes, and then when I moved to Vegas, it was a sophomore year of high school. I got into the mixed martial arts scene, and it's just been history ever since.
Yeah, and I remember I met you a few years back. I remember when you fought out this way for one of the regional promotions, and you actually won the title. And I was impressed, man. You got a lot of skills and just your whole attitude, man. I think you bring a lot to the cage or the ring or whatever the sport. You're bringing a lot to it. So that's definitely something that I appreciate and like to watch. So Joey, I know I follow you on social media, and one of the other reasons I wanted to really talk to you was this was always hard for me too, right? Like as far as trying to train and be in shape, right? Like I watch you're working full-time job, you're keeping a crazy schedule, man, and you're still getting it in, man, training and stuff. How do you manage it all, man?
I have a very patient wife. That's it's rough, man. I just posted something about how there's always going to be reasons. It's hard and fighters are different because you could be at the top of your game. Like most UFC fighters have a job on top of training. So there's always going to be reasons to not do something. But for those same reasons, you can use those to do something. So like I have 4 kids. I have a wife. I work 12 hours a day. So I get up at 2:30. My schedule is 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I get up at 2:30. I drive in half an hour, 40 minutes to work. I clock in at 3:45, and then I clock out at 4 in the afternoon and go right to the gym. I'm 33 years old. I still have plenty of energy, but it's more the drive. It's my children look at me. And if I can do it, I'm setting an example and stepping stones to my children to go, hey, just because something's hard doesn't mean it's not doable.
Joey, that's awesome, man. Because I mean, listen, I'm definitely if people haven't noticed, I'm a lot older than Joey. I'm 51, but I still take motivation from somebody like Joey. Joey, I kid you not, I saw your post the other day where you were heading into training, and I hadn't worked out yet. And I swear to God, I was like, yeah, you know what? This dude just worked 12 hours. What am I bitching about? Let me get it done. So I think you're actually motivating a lot more people besides being an example for your kids. I think you're really, really being a great example. So you mentioned it, right? A lot of sports, it's kind of the only thing these people are doing, these guys are doing, right?
Mhm.
What is it about MMA, man? That, like, you mentioned the drive, and I get your kids, right? But like, it takes a lot, man, to have to not just physical, right? But it's like the work and knowing you got that coming. Like what else goes into it, man? Because there's got to be somewhat of a love for, I would imagine, for mixed martial arts in general, man, to be able to keep it up.
Yeah, a lot of people go, sacrifice, dedication, perseverance. To me, it's just it's in my DNA. Like I'll always love fighting, and I always like to compete. My thing is I don't really hang out with a lot of people. I'm pretty much to myself, with my work schedule. I'm either one of three places: work, the gym, or home. And you know, my wife, and then it comes my kids, and then I'm sixth on that list. To where fighting for that 15 minutes or 25 minutes, if it's a title fight, it's all about me, right? Because I'm a selfless person. My family 100% comes first, but I love the fact that I get to work hard, lose all this weight, work hard, show my kids that it could be done, right? And then have that 15 to 25 minutes of just, most people look at it like chaos. I look at it, it's vacation. The only time I take vacation, Charles, is to go fight. So I go get punched in the face to go fight. But it's that's what it is for me. It's in my DNA. It's a lot more than just fighting. It's literally a lifestyle, and it's going to set the tempo for the rest of my life after I put the gloves down. And I hope that it sets up my children in that way as well, as far as looking at their father and going, okay, well, this is the stepping stones. This is what I have to do to get it done, no matter what they do. I hope my kids don't fight, but no matter what they do, I'm trying to set the blueprint for them for success.
Yeah, well, I think you're definitely doing that, man. So let me ask you, man. Anytime I talk to fighters, and I get different answers for this, right? Some guys will legit say, back there waiting to come out, they're very nervous. Some guys seem relaxed. What's your feeling on that right before the fight? How do you feel inside before coming out?
Yeah. So everyone asks me, do you get nervous? You get nervous? I'm like, I get nervous when I'm in the back locker room, right? Like I'm next up and something big happens, like someone just got laid out, and I hear the crowd go, oh. The only time I get nervous is like, oh man, I hope that's not me in 10 minutes. But I I don't know, man. I get nervous as normal nerves, but I don't start kicking into gear until I get punched in the face. And my dad and my wife and my coaches are like, dude, why do you got to get punched first in order to realize you're in a fight? It's always been like that. I'm notoriously known as kind of like a slow starter, more methodical. But yeah, nerves are always going to be there. And I don't know who said it, but I think it was Couture. He said, once you're no longer nervous, you shouldn't do it anymore.
Mm.
And so my nerves are there, but visualizing the win, that's never a doubt in my mind. I won this fight long before I stepped into the cage.
Yeah, man. And I could tell, man. I mean, I've seen you fight a few times, man. I wanted to actually go back if you wouldn't mind. I thought I think it was your last fight in bare-knuckle. I think
Mhm.
that was just a testament to the human spirit, man. You definitely were hurt, and I seen you still battling, trying to battle through it. Like, walk us through that, man, because that looked like a serious injury, and I was like, damn, he's not. You still didn't want to quit. You still were out there trying to do it.
Yeah, so I fought Brandon Johnson, who was a good friend of mine. Great dude. And I think I was up, I might have lost the first round, but I was up rounds two, three, and four. There was about 10 seconds left in the fourth round when I got hurt. And it was a very weird injury, man. I threw a check left hook. He put his head down and was kind of swimming over. So I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of bopped him. I hit him right here. And I felt the sharp, I honestly, Charles, I thought I was having a heart attack because I felt the sharpest pain go from my elbow all the way to my chest. And I kind of winced immediately. And I've never really been hurt like that in a fight. Usually with adrenaline pumping, you're hurting after the fight. So something was wrong, and everyone saw. Even the announcer said that. So I basically tore the bicep off my bone, and it rolled all the way up.
Mm.
I wound up having surgery for it, and I don't think it's career ending. A lot of people go, "No, you shouldn't fight anymore," but it was heartbreaking. So after I tore it, I was visibly hurt. Brandon kept, as he should have, he kept pursuing me, and yeah, I just kept trying to fight him off. I didn't want the fight to get stopped. When the doctor came in, I think the only reason the doctor came in is because how big I winced, and
Mm.
I didn't mean to. He said, "Flex your arm," and my whole bicep kind of fell down. So obviously they have the fighter, and you have to protect the fighter. So the fight got stopped. But really unfortunate, but it is what it is. You lose like a champion, win like a champion.
Yeah, and Joey, I would agree, man. I follow combat sports, man. I thought you looked really, really good, and to your point of the slow start, I thought the same thing you did. I thought you lost round one, but I really thought you came on and you were really, really you're boxing. You looked real good, man. So I was definitely very heartbroken for you, man, because I think you were going to take that one and win it. Um, how you feeling now with that injury? I know it like any residual, not just physically, any residual like mentally, like any nerves about maybe doing anything to it this time around?
No, so the moment I came back a little faster than I'd like to, I accelerated everything. I was, because I had to go back to work, and what I do is very physical. So I was out of work for like 4 or 5 months, and during that time, I was trying to rehab it, and more of it was like thinking positive. The moment I was able to like punch something, I went as hard as I can,
Mm,
and I went as hard as I can, and hard as I just kept throwing left hooks into the body. And everyone's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm trying to clear any doubt I have
mm,
with my left hand." Um, and that's the biggest thing with fighters coming back from big injuries like this is they're like timid. Dude, I'm gonna throw it, and
mm,
because the first thing I don't want to do is half-ass my training because I think I'm gonna hurt myself.
mm.
So, I just went in there, and my arm is great. I have a little scar tissue where the scar is. It's a little scar, but other than that, I have full mobility. I have like I'm doing jujitsu. I'm getting arm barred, and like I'm letting the guys arm bar me a little bit to get that resistance, and it's I don't know.
Nice.
It might even be better than before I got hurt.
Well, that's good to hear, man. So
Yeah.
that's a big injury, right? So I'm always curious too, because just training in general, right? And obviously you said what you do is very physical. How do you handle the little nagging injuries, man? That just between all that you do in your regular job, then training, man. How does that all happen? What's your like regimen like to make sure you're healthy and getting the best training in you can?
Nutrition is number one. I'm a big believer in like Hippocrates, the old philosopher. He said, "Let that medicine be thy food, and thy food be thy medicine."
Mm,
So I do eat not only to perform, but I eat also to recover. Um, and I get little stuff like little B12 shots. I go get my Toradol, which is an anti-inflammatory shot. Um, just maintenance, but I'm always going to be hurting. But what hurts more is when I stand still. It's like
mm.
after the fight or when I'm not doing anything. That's when the body settles, it starts creaking and cracking. So as long as I keep moving, I'm good.
Yeah, man. It's and obviously you're putting in a lot of work. So now with all your job, 12 hours a day, all the training, right? You mentioned recovery, and I right away start to think about rest with sleeping. What's your schedule like? How the hell, man? What time are you usually in bed at night?
So I'm in bed every day at 8:30, and then I
Mm,
get up at 2:30. So like my alarm goes off at 2:30, and I'll snooze it, and I'll officially get out of bed at like 2:50, and then my job it takes me like 40 minutes to drive there. It takes me a little over an hour to get home.
mm.
So I get home at 5 o'clock. But yeah, it's 2:30 to 4 p.m. is my work day, and then I come home. My wife works graveyard, so we don't see each other too much. She works 8 to 4 in the morning. So when I'm getting home or when I'm leaving for work, she's just getting home.
Mm.
I check on the kids, they do homework, and then I go to the gym. And I go to the gym until like 7:30. Come home, the kids have eaten by then, and then I say, "Oh guys, be quiet, just dad's gonna go to sleep." I take my little melatonin gummy, and then I go to sleep.
Man, Joey, God bless you, man. What a schedule, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, and I just think, and I hope for the people that are watching, you got to start to It's that time of year, right? Everybody's starting with resolutions and goals and all that. And I think one of the big things we hear all the time is, I don't have the time. Well, I think Joey's showing you that, you know, somebody like us saying we don't have the time is probably not really true. We can make the time. So I think that's a great example you're setting, man. So Joey, as you talk more about your career in fighting and you say about setting your kids up, like what's the dream, man? What are you ultimately hoping to accomplish before your career's done?
Um, fulfillment. I've been my grandfather passed last year, and he was living with my mom, and we talked about, like, so my mom was his caretaker, so I was always at his house talking, and he was essentially on his deathbed, and I've learned so much from those conversations, about like leaving no stone unturned and doing stuff for the fulfillment and the enjoyment instead of like a monetary gain, because we know fighters don't like the fight you spoke about when I fought for that title, my pro title. I think I got paid like $1,500.
Mm.
So I don't do it for the money. I have the family. It's smart for me to do it for the money, but I do it for the fulfillment. Because when I do hang the gloves up, I want to say, hey, I left no stone unturned, and then I'll pass the torch off to my children with whatever it is how to do.
Mm. Yeah, and as far as career, your age, anything, man, how in your mind have you thought about how much longer you want to keep doing this, or is it kind of open ended?
It's open ended. I'm healthy. My knees are good, hips are good. Like, I see a lot of guys that have been pro a lot less than I have, and they're like, "Oh, I just got my ACL, all this stuff." I'm like, I'm, I don't know. I'm pretty good. 33 years old. I'll be 34 in April, and it's been a crazy journey, man. Going from 155, and then I can say the next fight uh, will be at 205, just because I want to take advantage of a certain opportunity. But I'm an 85 at heart. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to give myself a time scale. I feel like I'm getting, when I was younger, it was all about the body. I was all about physical, train, 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 train. And then as I get older, that mind body connection, as you start getting smarter, it starts to even out. Going, okay, I'm still physically healthy, but I'm way smarter. I'm more knowledgeable of what I'm doing now. So that's just like that's your peak right there. So I'm gonna ride this out for the next couple of years, and see where it takes me.
Yeah, it's funny you say that too, because I know, like I said, the first time I saw you fight, first time I kind of met you, and I mean this as a compliment. I've actually noticed in watching you through from afar on social media, I can kind of see that happening, Joey, believe it or not. Like you, it was definitely more, a few years ago. I mean, it was definitely more aggressive, and now I feel like you've definitely, like, it's all starting to kind of even out in a good way, man. And
Yeah.
even fighting, like I said, watching that last fight, man, looking at you, watching you picking your spots, and the way you just kind of, your ring generalship, I thought was just, it definitely was showing your experience and stuff like that. Joey, one thing I didn't ask you, and the reason I saved it till now, and I'm glad you mentioned age, because this is something else I always like to ask fighters about. Have you noticed as you've gotten older, and it seems like for your next fight, this might not matter, but that weight cut, man, how difficult is that?
It's I get a lot of crap from like my family and friends, and they're like, so I'm an 85er, but could you guess what weight I walk around at naturally?
I mean, if I was going to guess, I would probably say, I would have actually said you walked around about 185.
Yeah, I walk around at 230.
I would have never
Yeah,
guessed that, man.
yeah. So I usually walk around at like 220, 220, 225. But with the injury, I was laid off so long, and I couldn't do anything. I put a couple pounds on, but that 230 to 185 is a very easy weight cut for me with the right amount of time. Um, like I said, nutrition goes a long way. Um, and when people look at me and they look at, oh, okay, I'm a pro athlete, this and that. Listen, I like cheesecake. I love beer. I like good food. I'm Italian. My wife, I love Hispanic food. I love all types of food. So I'm not a Yoel Romero.
Mm.
I don't have a shredded 9 pack all year round. And it actually helps me because I do have a lot of fat to cut. I cut it extremely quick.
Yeah.
But I've noticed as I got a little older, I have to start preparation time a little further away from the fight. So yeah, this for instance, this coming up fight, I'll be cutting 20 23 pounds. So, and that's, it's a lot shorter than what I usually do it in, but it's extremely manageable once I dial in. But yeah, the age, as much as I love getting older, yeah, for what we do, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what, I was just sitting here as you were talking about it. When you told me what you walked around at, right? I
Mhm.
start to think like, I mean, and you probably have seen I had weight struggles obviously over the last bunch of years, and I ended up
Mhm.
losing close to 100 pounds. But then I hear what you say and that you're cutting it. And I'm like, man, I didn't really do much of anything. Joey's doing this.
No, no. Oh, trust me, my wife makes fun of me because, I'm like, "Oh, I want to be in shape." But she's like, "Babe, you're only in shape when you weigh in." Because it's true. I put on 20 pounds overnight. When I weigh in at 85, I go back into the cage at 205. And that's just by proper rehydration. But um, it's funny when we go to the pools and it's Vegas, so everyone and they're like, "Dude, you're a fighter." You're like, "You got," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a fighter," but I'm also a happy fighter right now. I'm not going to be have a six. I'm not going to be striated all year round.
Yeah, there you go, man. So, all right. So one of the other things I want to ask you, I think I love your nickname, man, the Cinderella Man. Where'd you
Yeah.
get it from?
Um, it has a lot to do with that last fight that you watched me fight. After that fight, I'm 6-1. I'm on a 6 fight win streak. I'm expecting a big call from somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I never got it. So I thought maybe I don't have that Conor McGregor effect
Yeah.
where I talk a lot of crap because that's not me. So bare knuckle was kind of like my second chance at fighting because bare knuckle came in and offered me way more money than I got in MMA. Um, so I still can't remember. I was so happy when I can't remember who said it. It's like, "Oh, it's like your Cinderella story." And I was like, "What do you mean?"
Mm.
He's like, "Well, you got your second chance." I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess bare knuckle would be like my Prince Charming who saved me." So, and then I'm a huge James J. Braddock fan. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I know his nickname wasn't the Cinderella Man, but the story was, and I like to roll with that. I'm a blue collar guy. I work hard. I turn wrenches all day, and I'm just trying to achieve a dream that's just a little bit bigger than me. That's all.
Yeah, man. And Joey, I listen, I got to tell you, man, I hope people see this. I mean, for me, like obviously my son's involved in combat sports. I've trained, but like I I find, some people look and they think boxing, MMA, right? They just think like it's these, Neanderthal types of guys, right, man? And I think you again are a great example of, there's an intelligence, there's a work ethic, and it's for the most part, you're the type of people that can be admired and emulated for folks outside of that type of sport to really have a better quality of life, man. There's a lot of characteristics and things that you and folks that do those sports like you guys. I mean, it's just something that I think people can learn a lot from. So I just, man, I wish you nothing but the best, man. And I'm going to be pulling for you. I know you got something coming up and you really can't talk about it, but I mean, anything you can say, whatnot. I mean, I get it if you can't, but again, I'm excited. And listen, Joey hasn't told me anything either. I'm just saying, get as much as I can here out of him. So
Yeah. Well, for as long as I've been pro, and for as long as I've worked and everything, and I've thought about hanging them up and get battled through injury, I finally got the big call that I wanted, and I feel like I deserved. I'm super humbled to get this call. Um, it is, like I said, it is going to be at 205, which isn't crazy. Obviously, I walk around heavy as it is, so I'll just won't cut as much weight. But yeah, I'm hoping to announce everything within a week or two. I think they have to get their promo set and their posters and everything made. They want to be the first ones to do. But I got my call. I'm happy.
man, and you know what? We're going to end on that note because I'm thrilled for you, man. I
Thanks,
know
man.
you start to tease it a little bit on social media, and
Yeah,
I'm really, really happy for you, man. So
thank you.
listen, I wish you nothing but the best, man. You got a fan out here over on the East Coast in Philadelphia, man. I'll always be rooting for you, and I really appreciate you doing this, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on, man. It's always fun to talk to like-minded individuals.
Yeah, thanks, Joey. So Everybody keep an eye out for Joey's big announcement. At this point in time, I'm not 100% sure. It might end up being before or after this podcast airs, but we'll see. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. Joey, thanks, man. Good luck. Take care.
Thank you so much. You too.
This has been the Bare Essentials. Thanks for listening. And remember, never hibernate on your goals.